Also underway right now, the first hearing from the new House subcommittee on the coronavirus pandemic. It's focusing on the origins of the COVID-19 virus as more intel agencies have recently raised the possibility that the pandemic was caused by a possible lab leak in Wuhan. But that intelligence is further straining the already tense relationship between the U.S. and China. NBC's Josh Lederman is following this for us from Hong Kong. Josh, what have we heard so far out of this hearing, and what does it mean for U.S.-China relations?
Well, a big focus of this hearing so far, Lindsay, has been on whether it even is important to get to the bottom of the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic and to really try to cast a spotlight on how critical it is in the view of those who have called this hearing that this be solved and that an investigation really be carried out to completion. Every single one of the witnesses was asked today in the first minutes of this hearing whether figuring out where COVID came from is important to science, to being able to prevent a pandemic like this from emerging in the future. All four witnesses said they believed it was important. But beyond that, a big focus so far has been on blaming China for the origins of the virus. Now, the Chinese government has called that attempts by the U.S. to politicize this issue, to denigrate China, and to really try to dismiss China. But nonetheless, congressional Republicans who organized this hearing today making that a key focus in the first minutes. Take a listen.
The Chinese government has done everything in its power to prevent the type of investigation into the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic.
The epidemic broke out not in some random Chinese city, but right in Wuhan, home of the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
Based on my initial analysis of the data, I came to believe, and I still believe today, that it indicates that COVID-19 more likely was the result of an accidental lab leak than a result of a natural spillover event.
That last witness you heard from was Dr. Robert Redfield, who was the head of the CDC during the pandemic under former President Trump. And the other big focus of this hearing so far has been on something called gain of function research. And there's been a hypothesis that the way that COVID-19 came about was through that kind of research in which scientists essentially alter a virus to make it either more transmissible or more deadly. There have been concerns that that was how this came about. Dr. Redfield there calling for a moratorium on gain of function research until more can be done to make sure it can be done safely. Lindsay?
Josh Lederman, thanks for your reporting.